You're interested in CRNA school and what CRNA school is actually going to look like. You are either an ICU nurse or you are just now starting CRNA school. I'm going to bring you along with me to show you how I set up my semester as a second year SRNA. If we haven't met, hi, my name is Anna. I just started semester 5 of CRNA school. And back in 2020, I started making content documenting my journey and experience as a COVID ICU travel nurse. That is where I met a lot of you over on TikTok. That is also where I met my business partner, Christina CRNA Extraordinaire. Together, we have started an education business for ICU nurses who are interested in anesthesia in the future, Confident Care Academy. We have a podcast together. We have a comprehensive lecture library full of pharmacology and pathophysiology for people who know that anesthesia is something that they're interested in, and for ICU nurses who want to dig deeper and really understand things at a cellular level. Today, I'm going to bring you along with me to show you how I'm going to set up all of my coursework for my last semester of didactic. In this video today, we're going to go over how to use and set up Trello. We're going to go over how I use and set up Google Drive, Google Docs, and Google Calendar integrated with Trello to set up what my next semester is going to look like. I'm going to show you how to set up Trello for yourself, and then I'm going to show you how I use all of these tools to set up for my next semester. Nothing today is sponsored. This is all free. This is all stuff that I use myself day in and day out, and I hope that these tools will be helpful for you as you start your anesthesia journey. A little overview of the structure of CRNA school. So CRNA schools can either be integrated programs or front-loaded programs. Either way, they are now all 3-year doctorate programs where you are full-time for 36 months. I am in a front-loaded program, meaning that I do all of my classroom coursework before I hit the operating room. Other people are in programs that are integrated where they are doing their class-based learning and they are in the operating room at the same time. At the end of the day, we all have the same minimum case numbers that we have to meet. And all of these programs also deliver well above the minimum required cases. As I figure out my clinical assignments, be sure to come back and subscribe to see me move to my first clinical site and then talk about the cases that I have to get. I'll go over the case requirements to graduate from CRNA school. Definitely make sure that you're subscribed to keep in touch with that whole clinical journey. Today, I'm going over what I usually do to set up for my semester as I'm starting semester 5 of CRNA school. If you're interested in what I've learned in previous semesters, I have a whole playlist here you can go check out where I talk about how each semester progressed and what I had learned throughout those semesters, what courses I took, what grades I got, and what I wish I had done differently throughout each step of the process. So if you're a future CRNA, definitely go check out that playlist after you are done with this video. But first of all, let's go ahead and dive into how I use and will show you how to set up Trello. Okay, so very first thing, popping into Trello here, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I would build out an empty Trello board. Trello is something that I use for all sorts of things. As I'm scrolling down, I'm showing you things that I've used it for in the past, packing lists, affiliate links, student loans, keeping track of that, wish lists, things to do in different cities that I've traveled to, goals and quarterly goals. So I use Trello for a lot of different stuff. But as we're looking at it right now, I'm just going to show you how I would set up my basic personal to-do list. And then after I show you how to set up a to-do list, I'll show you what my personal to-do list actually looks like. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to hit create. We're going to hit create a board. I like the color blue, and I'm going to call it YouTube video sample. Trello is free, by the way. I do have the paid version so I can pay for the power-ups, but you can absolutely download this for free. So I have now created a board. So Trello is a Kanban style workflow to-do list organizational thing. I basically use it as a personal to-do list that syncs with my Google Calendar. And I like it because I like visual to-do lists, and I like that I don't have to just delete everything, and I like that it's not a checklist. I will show you how I set it up and what I mean by that. So the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to add a list, and I like to add the days of the week, Monday through Sunday, as my list titles. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, so now you can see that I have created a Monday through Sunday to-do list. And now I'm going to add 2 more categories, doing and done. So the thing that you have done now is you've created a moving style to-do list, and each of these lists are movable. You'll see on the screen, I'm dragging each list back and forth. Today is Tuesday because that was the day that all of my classes are. So I'm going to move Tuesday to the very beginning of the list here, Tuesday here, and then you'll see that I set up doing right next to the day that I'm at, and then I will set done right next to that. Great. So now I'll show you how I build out each item. So today I had Anesthesia Principles 2. I had lab. I had shooting this YouTube video. I had filming an IG reel. And I need to post in my research and my legal class. Post discussion board, legal concerns class. I can't spell. Concerns class. Okay, it is now like 3 p.m. that I'm shooting this after my lab. So this is where you can see that I will take my Anesthesia Principles 2 because that was at 8 a.m. I'll move that to done. Lab, I will move that to done. Filming an IG reel, I did a Q&A about whether or not I would choose a front-loaded program versus an integrated program. Drop in the comments whether you think that matters or not, and then I'll give my 2 cents in 1 second here. I filmed an IG reel. Really quick aside about that, I actually don't think it particularly matters too much whether you're in an integrated program or a front-loaded program. I would choose a program that has higher case numbers and more opportunities for regional anesthesia and OB anesthesia, and has a variety of different practice models. So you want to work somewhere that is going to, or you want to be in school somewhere that's going to expose you to anesthesia care team, collaborative anesthesia team, and also independent practice models, in addition to a place that's going to have a lot of opportunities for regional. I also cared a lot about attrition rate. So at the end of the day, I actually don't think it matters that much whether you're in an integrated or front-loaded program. That's kind of an aside. That could be like a whole separate video in and of itself, but I filmed that IG reel. That's done. Shooting the YouTube video. Okay, so that is what I am doing right now. And for people who are visual like me, I like the physical satisfaction of seeing that an item that I need to do has been moved from the doing category to the done category, because then when I see it visually, it doesn't live in my head anymore. This is where it gets really nice with Trello. So you see this post discussion board and legal concerns. I actually might not get to that today. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to move that to Wednesday. And then I can move everything that I don't finish on Tuesday over to Wednesday. That's great. That's all fine and good. Where the next thing that comes in handy for Trello is that it integrates with Google Calendar. So this is where I will say Anesthesia Principles 2. All right, this is my line item that I need to do. Okay, I will go over to Power Ups. I think you get 1 power up on the free version, and I will search Google Calendar. This is the one you're looking for here, the one that says Google Calendar Sync. I will say add that, add. And so now when I add a date to my line item, 5:06 p.m., it should show up in my Google Calendar. Okay, so to get the Google Calendar sync to work, as you download this power up, you're going to want to authorize it. And then I'm going to flash in and out to make sure that I can authorize the account. Allow. Okay, so I just approved it. I do believe that you get 1 free power up with the free version of Trello. This is the one that I think is worth it for you to use. And then that'll sync with your Google Calendar. And then from here, I will go ahead and then put in all of my big exams into my Google Calendar is my next step. And then I will show you what my personal Trello looks like for this week and everything that I use Trello for in a day-to-day basis. So I like to start with the most difficult class first, and then I will add in all of the exams and presentation dates. So my Anesthesia Principles class is my hardest class this semester. AP2 exam 1. My first exam is on September 19th, and it is at 8 a.m. And I just add that to my personal calendar. And then I'll go through just like that with all of my classes, upload all of my important dates for both presentations and exams. I don't think you need me to show you how to upload exam dates into Google Calendars. But the next thing I'll show you is how I set up my Google Drive according to all of the assignments that are happening inside of the semester. And then I'll show you how my personal Trello looks like this week. Okay, we are now in my Google Drive, and then this is how I organize all of my difficult classes. And this is how I keep all of my documents organized. Okay, so we're in my personal Google Drive, and I've already built out 2 folders for my hardest classes, but we will go ahead and take a look at Anesthesia Principles 2. And what I will do is I will create a folder for each new class. So I'm also taking research methods, and I'm also taking a legal concerns class. So I will go into Anesthesia Principles 2 because that's my hardest class, and I had that class today, so I have some files to upload. And I like to organize everything within the folder by the exam that it correlates with. So my first exam, which you saw me put on the calendar, is exam 1. So exam 1, which I will rename that, exam 1 is 9/19. And within exam 1, I'm going to have my week 1 notes, and then I will also upload my week 1 slides. So file upload, I have files here. Today was GI and hepatic. So I'm now uploading the PowerPoint along with my notes for week 1. When I take notes on week 2, I'll upload them into this file as well. And I will also show you guys next time that I make a video how I make a study guide, because I make a study guide for anesthesia principles pulling from a lot of different things. So I start with Apex and I do pre-reading with Apex and Morgan and McHale. I then go to class and then I take notes during class and I record using Notability. And then I come back and then I finish all the Apex modules that I wasn't able to finish as part of my pre-reading. And then from there, I will cross-reference Apex, Nagelhout, and the lecture to build out one large study guide that is related to that exam. And I use Anki to use the image occlusion pieces and then I also go through all of the slides and then I ask questions instead of just writing out details. So instead of what does pain with inhalation mean? Oh, I think it's like Murphy's sign or something like that. So instead of saying Murphy's sign is pain with inhalation, I will say, what does pain with inhalation often indicate and what's the name of that? And then I'll say Murphy's sign. I'm not sure if that's true. I think this is just coming off the top of my head here. So I'll show you guys how I make a study guide. That'll be a whole separate video. Don't freak out. Right now, I'm just showing you how to set up Trello and how to set up your Google Calendar and how to make all of your exams like sync with it. Okay, so now we've got just the 2 slides from our Anesthesia Principles Class 1 that we had today. I also have Pharmacology 2. I was taking some notes and pre-reading from Nagelhout, and you can see that, I already am doing that here. Instead of saying, you'll see 12 to 15 minutes of clinical effect from sucks. I ask a question, what's the length of effect you'll see from the clinical effects of sucks? And then the answer is 12 to 15 minutes. So that's how I start to build things out. This will be a whole separate video. Don't worry about that too much. But at the end of the day, what do? I make a Google folder for each of my classes. And then within the folder, I make subfolders like Anesthesia Principles. Within each subfolder, I have all of the files that go for a particular exam just to help organize my brain. And that's all that there is to that. Next, I'm going to show you how my personal Trello looks like. Okay, so now we have logged in to my personal to-do list and we are on Tuesday. Okay, so for Tuesday, I am currently working on editing the YouTube video for student loans. I responded to this Instagram video, film how I set up for my semester YouTube video. I'm doing that. I am finished with lab and I need to do some writing. I have a dance class later. I need to write a thumbnail and I have a little bit of writing to do for the rest of today. Let's say that I don't finish this thumbnail. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to move that to Wednesday. For me, this is a way that everything makes a lot of sense. I like the ability to not lose a whole to-do list just because it's a new day. I like being able to roll over things that I don't finish and assign them to new days. I will also sometimes add links within here if there's a link that I want to post. And this looks exactly the same way that I told y'all that I set all this stuff up. I'll put in everything that has to do with like my workouts. I'll put in my hot girl walks. I'll put in my personal to-do lists overall. And this currently is also how I am building out my first week of anesthesia school. So I can also show you and talk through my personal to-do list about how I've structured my kind of setup and studying. Again, I'm going to make a whole separate YouTube video. Please comment if that's something that you want about how I set up my study guides. But the way that I approach anesthesia principles classes now is that I will read Morgan and McHale for a broad overview. I will do Apex modules as a broad overview. And then I will go to class, then I will take notes. And then I will come home and then I will try to finish all the correlating Apex modules that go with the lecture. And then after that, then I will cross-reference the slides and Nagelhout and Apex to build out a study guide for that anesthesia principles lecture. And I will supplement that with practice questions from Miller and with the case studies from Case Studies in Nurse Anesthesia. That's from Dr. Sass Elisha. And then I will do practice questions with Prodigy. The thing with anesthesia school is that you really can't use one source. You really have to like use them all. And it took me a semester or two to kind of figure out like a working strategy, because one of the most overwhelming things with anesthesia school is just like figuring out how to sort through all of the information. But it works really well for me to do the pre-reading with Morgan and McHale and start with the Apex modules and then go hear what my professors have to say, because they always have things to say that like aren't in the textbooks, and then dig deeper with Nagelhout and then the case studies and the practice questions, and then building out my own study guide. And again, please comment if that's something that you guys are interested in. But for me, for the rest of the week, I will have my pharmacology class tomorrow. I've already done my pre-reading with Nagelhout for my pharmacology, and I've already done my Apex modules for pharmacology. So the rest of the week for me looks like diving really deep into liver, endocrine, and GI. So I'll be spending a lot of time sorting through all of that information and trying to figure it out. Please comment if this was helpful. I hope that it was. This is also a little bit more unfiltered and not as scripted. So let me know if this style of video, just kind of talking through my process, is helpful for y'all. And if you want more science-based study tips, we have a whole podcast episode about ways to increase your grades that are backed by science. We went through like 5 different research articles in the Confident Care Academy podcast that show ways that are effective to study and ways that are very ineffective to study. Definitely go check out that episode, and then check out the whole playlist if you are a future CRNA who's looking for recaps of what all my semesters of CRNA school have been like thus far. That's it. Love you guys. Bye.